Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Let's take a look at the headlines. The Prime Minister celebrates 169th Indian Arrival Day celebrations at Parvati Girls Hindu School. A week of celebrations to get underway during the month of July to commemorate the life of the late great Nelson Mandela. An international energy-based company signs MOU with Youth Business Organization in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you for joining us. This year, Trinidad and Tobago celebrated the 169th anniversary of East Indian arrival to this country. As such, the day was commemorated with a number of activities taking place throughout the country, one of which was attended by the Honorable Prime Minister.
Prime Minister the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa SC celebrated Indian Arrival Day 2014 in Derby on Friday, participating in commemorative celebrations. The Honorable Prime Minister joined hundreds of residents and members of the constituency from 11:30 a.m. as a procession began at the Derby Junction, ending at the Parvati Girls High School. The day was a jubilant one, as it marked the 169th anniversary of East Indian arrival in Trinidad and Tobago.
The history of the Indians in Trinidad is an integral part of the history of Trinidad and Tobago. You cannot write the history of TNT without giving the Indian section a large part of that history.
And because all of 169 years earlier, for a variety of reasons, our ancestors they came to this part of the world, to various countries in the West Indies. But they left with them an indelible print on the landscape of every country that they came to. Their industry, their thrift, and their passion and desire for continuous education, they left those important things for succeeding generations.
The Honorable Prime Minister put the day into context, speaking of the journey the first East Indians had to make from their homeland to this country.
It is a day for celebration, but you'll also agree it is a day for reflection. Even as we sing, dance, and share a meal together, we must remember that this day, in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, 30th May, this day, in which there is now so much festivity and joy, was the culmination of a very long, dangerous, and often very frightening journey for our forefathers.
According to the Prime Minister, today much of the anger, violence and antisocial behavior that is witnessed in the country stems from a breakdown in family values, irresponsibility by parents, and a lack of respect from the youths shown to their elders.
But if we know these are the problems, then we already have the answers to many of the negative behaviors around us. Today, we need to go back to these simple, powerful ideals of our forefathers, where home and family are the primary source of nurturing you, our children, to become responsible, to become caring adults, committed to community and the country, and where the community collectively reinforces our family values.
The Prime Minister believes the descendants of the East Indians have done well in preserving their legacy. She commended the descendants for their continued involvement in national development, cultural preservation, and for staying true to their morals and values.
When our East Indian ancestors landed on this small island some 169 years ago, they were unsure of what lay ahead. Today I believe that our ancestors may look with favor upon their descendants, proud in the knowledge that their legacy of thrift, ambition, faith have guided their sons and daughters to achieve the heights of success in all aspects of national life. Even as we celebrate accomplishments of our East Indian ancestors and our communities, let us recommit to build an atmosphere of peace, of friendship and harmony amongst all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Our forefathers have come from many lands, but the future of our great nation now depends on our capacity to respect ourselves and others, to accept and nurture our very rich multi-ethnic heritage, and to dedicate ourselves to the highest levels of productivity. Let us be guided by the lessons of the past to create for ourselves a dynamic, successful and prosperous future.
The Honorable Prime Minister presented the General Secretary of the Mahasabha with 2 checks, a total value of $750,000 to assist with the covering of costs for the Indian Arrival Day celebrations. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
In other news, the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago will host a celebration in acknowledgement of Nelson Mandela's contribution to the world. The celebration will take place in this country from July 13th to 18th. According to Dr. the Honorable Roger Samuel, Minister of National Diversity and Social Integration, the posthumous honor of the anti-apartheid revolutionary and former president of South Africa is due to a promise made by the Honorable Prime Minister upon her return from Mr. Mandela's state funeral last December.
The theme for the July 13th to 18th celebration of the life of former President of South Africa, Nelson Mandela, is Nelson Mandela, the evolution of a world icon. Speaking at the post-cabinet media briefing, Dr. the Honorable Roger Samuel, Minister of National Diversity and Social Integration, confirmed government's planned activity to honor the late great world leader.
Prime Minister at Parliament had announced that we as a nation will have a celebration or acknowledgement of the work and the life of Nelson Mandela when she returned. This celebration has been prepared by the ministry, and it has taken the shape, first of all, of a poster competition that was launched for our primary schools and secondary schools. Secondly, it takes the form of a celebration between the July 13th and July 18th. July 18th, the day that was chosen, saying that it's an international day where the world will celebrate Nelson Mandela Day.
Minister Samuel said these celebrations will take the course of lectures to poster competition.
These celebrations will take a course during that week from the standpoint of lectures, from the standpoint of the involvement of NALIS, from the standpoint of the involvement of the University of the West Indies and the premier universities, who in their own way will have their lecture series with regards to Nelson Mandela and what he meant to this entire world.
The Honourable Minister explained the reason for this specific theme, Nelson Mandela, the evolution of a world icon.
And the reason we chose that theme is because of what Nelson Mandela, in his own way, meant not only to South Africa, but meant to the entire world, and what he stood for: justice and care for all humanity, volunteerism, and all of those things that he would have lived and his life was identified with and by. Out of these celebrations, we intend to establish and form what is called our arm and branch of what is called the 67 movement, a movement that would encourage citizens of a nation to be part of service to each other, to build a better society, to be part of that aspect of volunteerism and care and concern for each other, so that we in Trinidad and Tobago can have a movement that even stands upon the premise and the ideas and what Nelson Mandela stood for.
Felicia Wilson-Moore, News 4.
Government is assuring that while payments will be made to depositors belonging to the Hindu Credit Union, it will take further measures to ensure such an incident like the HCU debacle does not reoccur. The comments were made by Minister of Finance and the Economy, Senator Larry Hawaii, as he spoke on the purchase of certain rights, HCU Bill 2014, in Parliament.
Finance Minister Larry Hawaii, in debating the purchase of certain rights HCU Bill 2014 in the lower house, says government will pay out $500 million to depositors and investors of the defunct Hindu Credit Union.
In the end, it's going to cost us about $500 million to regularize this position, and it would have arisen because of the fact of the delay in taking appropriate action to deal with all of the different issues which kept surfacing with respect to the Hindu Credit Union over the years. Under no circumstances is this government prepared to make any payment to any related parties. This is not about bailing out. This is not about bailing out wrongdoing. We are bailing out the innocent victims of this particular situation.
The minister explained how much the HCO matter has affected lives of depositors, and it was the hope of government to ensure that they are compensated for their loss.
The regulation of the auditing industry, ensuring that there are proper standards, that these standards are adhered to, that there are standards that are enforced, and that there are standards that we can have confidence in, and we meaning the people, the public of Trinidad and Tobago, that we must have confidence in these standards. That when we pick up accounts and we read and we see that the company is doing well, that we can believe that the company is doing well, that we can then take our hard-earned cash and put it into these institutions, believing that they're well run, they're well managed, and that we will get back the monies that we've put in when it is time for us to receive them.
The minister also assured that government was about to put forward legislation to prevent such a situation from occurring again.
The requirements for capital, for liquidity, the requirements for risk management, the requirements that impact on the overall governance structures are things that we have agreed to disagree with the credit union with the credit unions on, with a view to ensuring that we have institutions that would not have the same kind of difficulty that the Hindu Credit Union experience.
Meanwhile, the finance minister assures that legislation relating to the insurance, security industry and credit unions will be laid in the House before year's end. Kimberam Calawan, News 4.
News 4 continues right after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. A significant partnership agreement between British Gas of Trinidad and Tobago and the Youth Business of Trinidad and Tobago was launched. Following the agreement between BG Group and YBTT, BG Trinidad and Tobago began discussions with affiliate YBTT to define possible areas for collaboration in the field of entrepreneurship.
The Memorandum of Understanding signed at the launch of the partnership between BGTT and YBTT seeks to develop a youth enterprise initiative that would strengthen the entrepreneurship spirit and enhance economic opportunities for the nation's youth. You may ask, why is this partnership important? Sir John Grant, Executive Vice President, Policy and Corporate Affairs of BGTT says, it is important because when we look at youth unemployment figures for Trinidad and Tobago, the data indicates that the youth unemployment rate is almost double that of the national unemployment rate. He further states that with many young persons out of jobs and statistics that are showing increases in the number of young people involved in crime, this partnership takes on added national significance.
A key issue in many countries in the world is the question of jobs for young people. There are 75 million unemployed people in the world, and I don't think there is a single country where we operate where the issue of generating new employment and addressing the challenges that young people face is not very high on the agenda.
He says youth development has been a core corporate social responsibility initiative that BGTT began almost as soon as they opened their doors in Trinidad and Tobago some 25 years ago. They have supported youth through education and sport and is pleased to extend its partnership in the area of entrepreneurial development.
We're seeking to deliver help and support in a variety of ways around the world. One particular theme is to try and support and develop activities focused on education in the science, engineering and mathematics subjects. Why do we do that? And we do it here in Trinidad, we're doing it in the UK, we're doing it in Brazil. It's because we as an industry need young people coming through the education system.
Sir John Grant says one of the major recent initiatives is the STEM program with the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine, and the Ministry of Education. This program seeks not just to instill a passion for the sciences through focus on science, technology, engineering and math, but recognizes how these subjects develop critical thinking skills with students. Andrew Julian of Blue Earth Recycling Technology Company shared with the gathering his success story through this program.
Thank you for the support that you have given me. I want to say that the continued support that will be given, and I hope that the BG group could continue to give whatever support they are prepared to give. And I would like to just express my gratitude for the opportunity presented here today and for the appreciation that will be shown tomorrow.
Chair of Youth Business Trinidad and Tobago, Dale Lachlan, says that they are excited to partner with the executive management team of BGTT on this initiative and to collaborate with them in ensuring that it bears the positive fruits and benefits for which it is designed.
For YBTT, it is indeed an historic occasion and the culmination of discussions initiated in 2013 by then Chairman Richard Young. These discussions took place in the overall context of YBTT's association with Youth Business International, the umbrella organization under which YBTT falls and for whom BG is a major global sponsor.
She says we desperately need more people and young persons in particular whose courage, confidence and capability are powered by their entrepreneurial mindset. Ms. Lachlan says this partnership with BG Trinidad and Tobago is symbolic of the type of collaborative effort required by private sector and NGOs. Joseph Lopez, News 4.
News 4 continues right after this. The Trinidad and Tobago senior men's national team arrived safely in Buenos Aires, Argentina on Sunday. Now traveling with the team as part of its official contingent is His Excellency President Anthony Carmona, First Lady Rina Carmona, cricket double world record holder Brian Charles Lara, in addition to GISL's senior sport correspondent Wayne Cunningham and videographer Kimberly Crichton. We are now joined by Wayne on location in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Good afternoon, Wayne. How was your trip and entry into Argentina?
Well, Nicola, and Trinidad and Tobago, it was quite difficult. Actually, it was some 9 hours of flying. We had to make a stop in Brazil for refueling. But when we arrived here in Argentina, everything was expedited well by the authorities, and we got to the hotel in good time, but we actually settled down somewhere around 1 a.m. Trinidad and Tobago time.
Wayne, what's the energy like and what is the general atmosphere within the camp and the team?
Well, Nicola, the team is very upbeat. I spoke to Captain Kenman Jones earlier today, and he and his teammates are ready and raring to go to face Argentina. We have some debutants on the side, some people who never played for Trinidad and Tobago, some young players. We have a first time in a long time, 2 brothers on the Trinidad and Tobago team. Justin Hoyt, he already represented Trinidad and Tobago some 7 times. And his younger brother, Gavin Hoyt, who plays for Dagenham and Redbridge in England, he is joining the team along with Trevin Caesar of Tobago. They are the 2 new players on the team, and also there's Marcus Joseph. He has a good youth team career, played for Trinidad and Tobago coming up through the juniors, but I believe this will be his first stint on a senior national team, and he has a good chance of making the team because he was one of the high scorers, the highest scorer actually, in the TT Pro League for the 2013-2014 season. So, and he's looking very sharp in practice. The team is it's like a club team, according to the captain. Everybody is gelling together, and there's a nice spirits in the camp, and they're ready and raring to go.
With that being said, Wayne, has the team had the opportunity to practice together before the trip to Argentina?
Well, the team The team was actually in camp for about 10 days prior to leaving for Argentina. The only member of the team really not there was Kevin Molino. He plays for Orlando City in the United States. And he was unable to join the team in camp in Trinidad and Tobago. They stayed they were at the hotel in Radisson and had a number of practice sessions at the Gilsby Crawford Stadium in Port of Spain. And Kevin Molino joined the team this morning, and he's sitting like a glove. They just completed training right here in Argentina, and everything is ready to go.
How do you think this will boost morale, and what do you think is promised by the Trinidad and Tobago team?
Well, Nicola, this is a massive event for Trinidad and Tobago football. And it stems way back to 2012 when we qualified for the Gold Cup. We qualified as runners-up in the Caribbean Football Union tournament in Cuba. We went to the Gold Cup and we made the quarterfinal. And we got the world watching Trinidad and Tobago again. Normally a game like this, of this stature, you're facing Argentina, one of the favorites for the World Cup, in a friendly just a couple of days before the opening of the World Cup in Brazil. It's normally Trinidad and Tobago will not be considered for an event like this. But because of our showing on the field in the last 2 years, Argentina saw this as an opportunity to have a good pre-match warm-up, and they called Trinidad and Tobago, and we obliged. The Ministry of Tourism stepped in, and they funded the charter along with the sports company at Trinidad and Tobago, and got the Soca Warriors here. And the Soca Warriors themselves right now recognize that the nation looking at them, and they want to see what they could do against Messi. And it's unprecedented, a match of this nature. Some people compare it to Germany in 2006. I wouldn't go that far, because actually playing in the World Cup is something totally different, but it's very close.
Wayne, what do you think we can expect on Wednesday?
Well, Nicola, you can expect a high-profile, friendly international, right, from the River Plate Stadium right here in Argentina, because we believe the game is going to be electrifying. The Trinidad and Tobago team's ready. Argentina has no choice but to be ready. They're just about 10 days from their first game, and the fans are ready. I believe they moved the event from a $63,000 seater stadium to a 100,000 seater stadium, and Argentina ready to come out and see what their team is going to put out for the World Cup. The mood appears like, okay, Trinidad, Tobago, we're going to brush past you and we're going to get some good goal-scoring practice. That's the mood up here. But I'm going to tell you, Cameron Jones and his men, they're not going to be any pushover. They're going to play very hard and look to challenge Argentina and give them a good international friendly.
And we do look forward to that. Thank you so much, Wayne, for joining us. That was senior sport correspondent Wayne Cunningham joining us live from Buenos Aires, Argentina. And of course, you will catch all the action right here on TV4 on Wednesday from 6 p.m. Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 Report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. Remember, you can view a repeat of our newscast weekdays at 6 a.m. And feel free to visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/RTV4. I'm Nicola Barreto. Thank you for joining us.